This video is gonna walk you through the static site editor concepts for validating the publishing flow. Uh, I'm just gonna walk through the different stages, and what I need feedback on is that there's like two different kind of paths that I am thinking of, either A or B, and I'm going to go through them as I go through the stages. So let's kick it off at the handbook website itself. So what we want to test here is the new contribute to this page interaction that we're planning to introduce, where we have this edit in page, open a web ID or edit with a new editor to see if that interaction makes sense and if the labeling on the options also makes sense. So we will assume that the user will click on edit with the new editor, and that would take you into the enter the static site editor. And this is where I have like two divergent thoughts on the experience. The first one here is A is a simplified view of the web page itself, and then version B is a version of the user interface that looks more close to the actual handbook itself. So here you can see that the header is just the title itself and compact, whereas this has the extra purple background to give that experience that you're editing a live page. So that's the kind of core difference between the two experiences of A and B. So for the prototype, what I'm planning to do is enter this static site editor, try to get people's impressions on what they see and what they expect to interact with on the page. Clicking on the cog wheel here is something that will open up a panel or like an area that would have all the fields listed in for front matter. So in this execution, it would open up like this. Clicking on this will close it. And here, if you click on that wheel, the panel will open here, pushing all the content down. Next part would be looking at making some changes to the page. So unsaved changes, you get a yellow alert or some kind of visual cue that there are unsaved changes. And what we want to see is like, what kind of emotion does this evoke? As in, this is something that's different from in tools like GitLab, where we tell you that there are unsaved changes, and what we want to get out of this is to understand what is the perceived next action, and kind of understanding the difference between save and publish changes. Like I said, here we have this idea of save and publish changes. Really, like what we need to also check is if the understanding between save and publish changes makes sense. What I'm thinking about with save is that if you click on this, it will auto commit the changes to the branch if a merge request is set up. If it's not, then what it'll do is just save it to local storage somehow. And what we want to see here is like, is this a necessary button to introduce, or would users expect Control S or autosave to be working, and thus not requiring the save button at all? And once you're done with your changes, what we expect is for you to publish your changes, and this is where we're capturing information needed for the merge request so that everything can happen within the context of the static site editor. So here we would ask for a title, why is this change being made in the assignee, and we will auto-populate the branch name. The question I have around here is like, how much space or how much of the template would we add in here to generate a very useful merge request inside GitLab later on in the flow. I just noticed that this modal is the same as this modal, so I'll just skip it. What should have been placeholders here, but that's not the case. So moving on, I click Create Merge Request. Then the merge request is created. Then here we just want to just check to see if people understand what they see on the screen. So the name, the title, the merge request, what edit means. Merge request created would be like a toast pop-up that would appear. In this version below here, I'm exploring this idea of the same links from above, but also introducing this button here, which with the merge request icon on it, and it says your handbook merge request, which is something that I want to introduce to test to see if there's value in having a dedicated list of handbook changes from the static site editor. So this would simulate the idea of having a list of pages to be edited or in draft, like a CMS. So we could open up the merge request page with a predetermined filter with the assignee as the current user or myself, and with the label static site editor change. Whatever the label is, we can change it in the future, but this is just a concept. So we can finesse those tags and labels to make it more relevant and useful. So with the merge requests active, what we want to understand is, what does edit mean? In this case, it would reopen that modal that prompts you for information. So if you wanted to change the title or change the branch that it's associated with, you could do it from that modal, and it'll be invoked from the edit button. To get to the individual MR page, I am leveraging an existing interaction that in GitLab right now, where in some pages, clicking on the MR title will take you to the merge request page. So in this case, on hover, the title will be underlined, and clicking on it will take you to the MR itself, and its alternate is over here, and it looks like that. And the final thing that we want to do in this solution validation is how might we add another page edit to the current merge request. So in this case, I am working on this merge request over on here. I go to a new page in the handbook. I click edit with a new editor, and before I can do any edits, I'm prompted to either use a new merge request or select an existing merge request here. That's one concept. The other concept that I'm potentially that I'm proposing is that we always have this this fixed header at the top, and if you click exit, you're actually exiting edit mode. But while you're in edit mode, you would browse the pages naturally through the browser, and when you're ready to edit the page, you click edit this page, and then it takes you into edit mode. And when it goes into edit mode, it assumes that you will work with the current last merge request that you have selected, and continue with current merge request, continue, or if you click on select another merge request, it will pop up this modal that we've seen before, where you can either choose an existing merge request or click new merge request, and you could populate the information in yourself. And then this is just what a more detailed diagram of what I was thinking about the persistent header, where you would navigate to different pages through the browser, and this, while you're still in edit mode, this header will always be here, and then only when you click on edit this page, you go into editing mode. So the idea around this is that users will navigate the pages like a website, and potentially this would allow us not to have the need to have kind of like a file tree or a page tree to help users navigate. They can just navigate to the pages that need editing through like a web page itself. Thank you.